Hi Moors, welcome back to the More Weekly, reviewing the latest news at Alhambra High School. I'm your co-anchor Keiko.
And I'm your other co-anchor, Sean Patrick Lee.
College Decision Day is just around the corner.
And a lot of us students feel extremely pressured to get into top prestigious schools.
Here's more information. For many high school students, college decisions can feel overwhelming, especially with the pressure to get into a prestigious school. But research shows that where you go matters way less than what you do when you get there. According to the studies using the U.S. Department of Education college scorecard data, some lesser-known schools actually produce graduates who earn as much or more than those from elite universities, especially in specialized fields like engineering, healthcare, and business. In fact, experts emphasize that a student's major, skills, and career focus often have a bigger impact on student success than a school's ranking or name recognition. Even when looking at selective schools, the advantage isn't guaranteed. Some research shows that when you take into account for students' abilities and backgrounds, earning outcomes may be very similar, no matter which school they attend. At the same time, cost is becoming one of the biggest factors in college decisions. A national survey found that 60% of Americans say affordability is more important than prestige, and only 7% say prestige should be a main priority. With college tuitions continuing to rise, many students are rethinking whether taking on a significant debt for a name-brand school is worth it, especially when there are more affordable options that can lead to similar outcomes. As students weigh their options, experts suggest focusing less on rankings and more on fit, financial stability, and long-term goals.
With many colleges making it nearly impossible to get into their schools, all of us feel pressured to reach this point that we simply cannot reach because it's impossible to get into some of these colleges. And a lot of us feel disappointed when we have to, for example, go to community or even a school in the Cal State system simply because it is taboo that it's not good enough or you're a failure if you go. I know for a fact I myself a few years ago told myself I would never go to community college because why would I do that? And now I'm registered to go to Mount SAC. The point is, a lot of us need to realize that in this current market and the current job world, it honestly doesn't matter as much as it used to go to a school with a better rep or a better program. Because even people who go to Ivy League schools and come out of it with a degree find it extremely hard to still find a job even if their school has an extremely good reputation. But that doesn't matter because in our environment, we feel competitive to get into the best schools, to get into that school with the best rep, when in reality, it may not matter as much as we think it does. And some of us may even get into debt because we think that going to a school with a better rep is better than saving money. That's why a lot of us don't want to go to community even with all the money you might save. And I think us as students need to stop focusing on the schools with the better rep or the better program. Instead, be realistic. Is it realistic to go to the other side of the country and get into more debt simply because the school has a tiny bit better of a reputation? That's the decisions that we as students need to make, and we need to ignore all the pressures that are given to us by our peers.
Sean, what are you doing?
I'm looks maxing.
There's been an alarming trend of manosphere, red pill, and looks maxing content.
Here's more information.
Who has seen, put your hand up if you've seen something on socials where a man or a group of men are telling a woman or a group of women, get back in the kitchen, go make me a sandwich. Who's seen that in their social media?
The manosphere is a broad mix of online spaces focused on masculinity, dating, and self-improvement. Alongside, it is looks maxing, a trend centered on improving physical appearance to gain social or romantic attention. Both have spread quickly on platforms like TikTok and YouTube and have risen in popularity among the youth. These communities didn't appear out of nowhere. They grew out of early internet forums in the 2000s where mostly men discussed dating struggles and identity. Since then, those spaces have morphed into a negative place that includes groups tied to incel, or involuntarily celibate culture, where misogyny is rampant and men are prone to violence. With the recent release of the Netflix show Adolescence last year, the public awareness of this issue has grown amongst the general public. It shows how online spaces can influence a teen's view on relationships and identity, helping more people understand the impacts of these communities. With the rise of the manosphere and trends like looks maxing shows how powerful online influence can be for young people. Figures like Andrew Tate and creators associated with looks maxing like Clavicular have helped bring these ideas into the mainstream. Although some content truly does focus on self-improvement, it can also spread unrealistic standards and harmful views if left unchallenged. This makes it important for young people to think critically about the content they consume and for conversations around these topics to stay open and informed.
Excuse me, do you want to be interviewed for More Weekly?
No, thank you. I'm good.
A lot of students and even teachers feel extremely pressured and fearful that their opinions shown on camera may be seen as retaliation. Here's more information.
In last week's video, we focused on the achievement gap
and how the use of AI may be affecting grades differently among the diverse groups of students here at AHS. To better understand this issue, we interviewed teachers, students, and school staff to hear a range of perspectives and experiences. Through that process, we were able to gain valuable insights about the prioritization of grades over authentic learning. However, we noticed something unexpected. Several people we reached out to were not comfortable with being interviewed due to the fear of retaliation from the district, and that raises some important questions. Why must they fear retaliation for expressing their own opinion? What does it mean if individuals hesitate, not because they don't have opinions, but because they are unsure if it is safe to express them? And how might that impact the accuracy of what we see and hear when we try to understand issues like the achievement gap? This doesn't point fingers at any one person or group, but instead it highlights a concern about communication and openness. When certain voices are prevented in a conversation, will we really see the bigger picture? It's also worth thinking about how this applies to students, as this fear of retaliation doesn't only apply to staff members. If students feel pressured to hold back their thoughts, whether out of fear of judgment, backlash, or consequences, what perspectives are we losing? Ultimately, this brings up a deeper question about whether our environment encourages honest dialogue. Because if people don't feel comfortable speaking, even when the topic matters to them, then it becomes much harder to address the issue in a meaningful way.
Sean, are you ready for your AP exams?
What?
Hi, what's your name and grade?
My name is Sean, and I'm in 12th grade.
My name's Anna, and I'm in 11th grade.
My name's Riley. I'm in 11th grade.
My name's Ethan. I'm in 11th grade.
What AP test are you taking?
I'm taking AP Gov.
A push, AP Lang, AP Psych, and AP Comp Sci.
AP Comp Sci, AP Lang, A Push.
I'm taking A Push.
Okay, and we're going to give you 2 questions on that topic, and we'll see if you can answer them correct.
Okay.
The first question. When the Articles of Confederation were adopted, the nation's major concern was dominated by A, slavery, B, religious freedom, C, equality for women, D, political dominance by the central government, or E, economic issues.
E, economic issues.
That is correct. Next question. The Federalists believe that a nation dominated by factions will lead to A, tyranny of the majority, B, protection of minority rights, C, a recognition that factions would be in the best interests of the country, D, another revolution, or E, favorable economic growth.
I think A, tyranny of the majority.
That is correct. Round of applause.
Guys, one A push question. You guys think you can answer it?
Yeah.
All right. Let me test your knowledge. So what was the first national U.S. monument?
I think it's the Devil's Tower in Wyoming.
Mm-hmm. What was the last state to be admitted to the Union?
Should be Hawaii.
And who was the first woman elected to the U.S. Congress?
I think Janet Reakins.
Right?
Yeah, 3 for 3. Hey, everyone give a round of applause. Round of applause.
That's it for this week's video. Stay tuned for more videos and check out our website, The More Newspaper, for more stories. See y'all next time.
Go Lords!